Greetings everyone, salutations, and thank you for watching. This will be the N64 analog stick repair video that I talked about in my August vlog a couple of days ago. And yes, I know I'd said I'd purchased one, but I actually wound up ordering two, because whereas my secondary stick, this one over here, actually works fine, I essentially replaced both of these at the same time 8 months ago, but this one died just about 2 weeks ago, so I figured I may as well replace both of them and save myself the hassle of running into this in the future. And these redesigned analog sticks do look much better. There's the kind of ball joint attachment to allow for easier movement, which would be great for games like Knife Edge Nose Gunner, and that is a far better contrast to, you know, whatever this is. I mean, I criticize the N64 a great deal, and I'm not going to throw too much shade at them, but, like, you just look at that and you know that that's going bad in time, and considering how many repair videos that there are for these things, it was seriously a problem. Not that they could have foresaw that in 1996, but hey, that's gonna happen. So anyways, replacing these really isn't too hard at all. I was actually terrified of the idea about this, but earlier this year, or well, rather late last year, when I replaced my connector pins for my Nintendo, kind of helped me build up the courage to want to do more things like this. I've also got to resolder a new battery onto my Dreamcast, so that's something I'm still a little bit nervous about. But let's get started here. Gonna take out my memory card here, and you start out by loosening all of these screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 total. I just try not to apply too much pressure on these so that I don't wind up stripping them, which would cause me headaches in the long run. I really should just find my old one again or replace it. So yeah, I don't really fasten these in all too tight. They're not too difficult to remove, except for the two in here and in this docking station. Those are real pain in the necks to remove, and I kind of hate doing it. Funny thing about this controller, when I had originally replaced this one, I found like several dead tiny beetles tucked away into the memory pack here. Maybe that explains why a good chunk of my Rumble packs have been corrupted. Just a couple of screws there, not a great deal of effort. That's these three that have come out there. We'll just set those there to the side so that I don't wind up losing those. I really hate trying to put these back. If there's any editing in this video, it's probably because there might be a great deal of profanity while replacing these in here. I realistically should have found one of the ones with magnets in them, or the magnetized screwdriver, but I didn't think that far ahead because I am not a bright man. So, kind of going with my own personal history with the N64. Now, I kind of rag on the console a great deal because I wasn't a big fan of it when it first came out. We grew up in our household with the Sega Saturn. That was the console of choice during the 32-bit era. Our parents had purchased us a Sega Saturn first because, well, it was the first one available. The PlayStation wouldn't be out for another couple of months, so Sega tried getting the jump on the PlayStation with their new console, and I grew up more with that. Oh, there goes that one. And I had played a great deal of games like Virtua Fighter Remix, then later Virtua Fighter 2, and Cyber Speedway, and one of my favorite games, Off-World Interceptor. That was my very first game review here on the site. Video review, anywho's. Get out of there. You see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Come on. Oh, there we go. This one here's a little snug. There we go. So yeah, that was despite the fact that despite the fact that I was a Nintendo kid for, well, pretty much as young as I can remember, at the very least after the Atari 2600, because we didn't even get a Sega Genesis until about 1989, I want to say. And having grown up with mostly Nintendo consoles in the house, I was actually shocked by how much I liked the Sega Saturn. And I had spent so many years playing that, but that by the time the N64 came out, I wasn't even really interested in it. I instead just played more of the Saturn, and by the time N64 came out, my younger brother got it for his birthday that year, maybe like 96, 97, but I just pretty much ignored the console, and I just continued to play games like The Horde all the time. So, it took me a while to get into that, and it wasn't too much longer after, by the way, this whole casing comes off to reveal the honey-made graham cracker that is the motherboard. And that's where all the magic happens here. A good chunk of that is still very dirty. I've got to clean that out later. So, to remove the analog stick, you disconnect this. Not particularly too painstaking. And that L button's just going to do whatever it wants to for now. And there is, whoop, several more screws need to come out here. Anywho's, so, now, I like these being separated by the golden ones. That way I don't get it mixed up with all of these that are up here. You stay right there. Last thing you need to do is to pause this to find rogue screws. Knowing my skittish... Thank you for that. Knowing my skittish reflexes, that's probably bound to happen at any point. But, anywho's, by the time I began delving into the N64, it was sort of around the time that... It might have been a little bit before Ocarina had come out. Because by that point, everyone was still playing... I think Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart was probably the first N64 game I'd actually played. And alright. Now we detach that part. That's where the Z button goes. So, yeah, goodbye to that old thing. And then we place this in here. Now this right here slides back on, and that should... Oh. There we go. Just had to give that a little bit of love there. Don't have to put too much pressure onto it. It snaps in just fine. And then these connector pins, make sure that they're facing the right way. Fasten those in. I want to make sure that those are going right enough that I don't bend anything. I don't know how well the light's picking up on that, or if the autofocus is screwing that up. But there. One easy snap, and there we go. Where was I? Yeah, so by the time I had gotten around to investigating the N64's library, or at least opening my eyes to it, it was around the time where everybody else was playing GoldenEye. Even by then, we had finally gotten a PlayStation, and by 1997, that's when the Saturn's library in the US started to die out completely. So, instead of gravitating towards Nintendo, which is what I would normally do in those kind of circumstances, I veered towards PlayStation because, well, they had King of Fighters, and I like King of Fighters. So, yeah, I wound up getting more into the PlayStation because, hey, I love my fighting games and my Japanese role-playing games. Those weren't on the N64. So I could. It took a while. That doesn't go there. What am I doing? Eh. Okay, I think I put that in the wrong space. Wonderful. Okay. Reset. How to screw up your N64 repair video. This is marvelous. Just okay, I'm back. I inadvertently placed a screw in the wrong spot, and yeah, had some mild technical difficulties there. So, as I was saying, so I think the first game that I truly got into on the N64 was probably Shadows of the Empire. I thought it was a pretty cool game at the time, really neat action game, and I wasn't a huge Star Wars fan, but I was kind of interested in the side stories and some of the novels. So, yeah, Shadows of the Empire was probably one of the first N64 games that I really liked, and then as time went on, I began playing other games like Hexen and Torok. Whoopsies. Didn't really get much into GoldenEye because that game's freaking hard to play. I still can't play it to this day. I just repurchased it like a couple of months ago and tried giving it another shot. Yeah, didn't work. Okay, so we've got that fastened in there, and that's locked into place. So, going to put this fastening screw in here, and once that's all set, crap. Just a moment. And we're back. Jeez, I'm sweating like a Trekkie here. Here. Alright. Now the casing. Go. Hang on a second. I forgot the L and R buttons. Back on it. There. Good. Son of a... Are we in place? Good, good. Make sure that those connections are fine so that there's no problems in the future. And then we snap this back on and reinsert our screws, making sure this connection is flush. Going to start with the internal screws, and for the sake of making this short, I'm not going to show me putting these all back in together because you pretty much got the idea by now. Now that my controller is successfully put back together and all the connections are snug and flush, time to run some test games on here. So we're going to try this out on my N64. Yeah, I picked up a green one because I like having colorfully diverse consoles. Yeah, my game shelf kind of looks like the cast of Doug. So I'm going to get this set up here, and we're going to run Castlevania first to see if everything works accordingly. Works good. Apologize for the guerrilla-style cinematography here. I'm going to try and reduce the glare as much as possible. Yeah, sure, game start. Not really doing anything seriously here, so... Reinhardt, or... Ooh, okay. Feels pretty good, seems responsive. Carry. Why did I pick Carrie? Because it's going to be fun playing as an anime girl. Ah, the Necromamamamamakan.
Transylvania.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, that is buttery smooth. I like that. Ooh. Oh, that is... I don't know how that's picking up on the capture. It might be a little bit jittery, but yeah, this... Well, this feels great. I like it. Huh. Hey, Skeleman. I've actually never beat this game before. I don't know, check his ID. Ah! This man has a severe case of boogie fever. Great, and we didn't get Vincent Price for the voiceover. DDP Yoga! Huh? Okay, yeah. Never could get a hang of the combat in this game. Huh? Oh, back off. Yeah. I think that projectile just kind of goes... I think there's a halfway auto-target... Ow. I think there's a halfway auto-target... There we go. Or at least that's a... Okay, R button's like a face... Okay, no, it's not strafing. It's more of a walk. Back off! Wait, how did I swing those chakra? I did like a physical attack. I don't know whatever that was. How do I pick up stuff? I have no idea. Kimco! That could only mean one thing! Oh, thanks for giving away my big reveal title screen. Yeah, Knife Edge Nose Gunner. Actually one of my favorite N64 games. I like it. And this is actually one that I'm glad that I've got a new analog stick for, because it's a... I'll just do practice for now, since we're just going to skip cutscenes and whatnot. But this is a game where... No, none of my rumble packs work. They're all corrupted. On the set of Ghosts of Mars. Alright, the fuel mixture isn't working good. We can't get up enough speed. Whoa! Okay, I forgot it's inverted. Dang it. Alright. But moving the reticle's significantly easier on this. Oh, yeah. Yeah, now we're cooking with gas. I really should have changed the controls prior to, but... Wing blasters. Okay, I will say one thing about this game. It is one of my favorites. That being said, this is one of those games where much better textures and rendering would have served a great purpose. You don't know what anything is until it's like right in your face. It's probably not even looking worse on my camera here. This is where years of playing Top Gun on NES pays off. Okay, the herky-jerky camera is actually a little bit annoying because you never know when it's going to decide to change direction, and that's a little bit aggravating.
It's me, Mario! Hello!
Mario, I thought this was Spyro!
Okie dokie!
Alright, yeah, this is another game that benefits greatly from a properly working analog stick. So it's going to run somewhere in my 103 completed star count of this game. I've never gotten all stars in this game because I'd get to Rainbow Road or the stupid freaking Rainbow Road, and then I'd get the tick-tock clock, and then I'd quit. Why? Because those stages are freaking murder. I hate them.
Let's go!
Yeah, that makes... Yeah, so suffice to say, I'm really happy with this purchase. And you want to know what's actually messed up? Is that before I'd actually decided to repair my N64 sticks, I would just see on Kickstarter that new N64 controller that just met its stretch goal. So it's like, well, egg on my face, but oh, that's gonna happen. Ow! Thank you for that. Let's see. Bang! Ow! I have no idea where I'm going. I'm just kind of wandering around here. I can't see. Ow. Later, Gator. So, suffice it to say, I think that my controller is a success. Yeah, new analog sticks. If you find these redesigned analog sticks on the market, I recommend them. They save. They're worth the purchase, and they're pretty cheap. I got these off of Amazon. So, thank you for watching this N64 controller repair video. Later.